Next, let's clear up gay culture. Is gaydar a real thing? Here's the science.
This is Gay Science. In today's episode, how does gaydar work? Gaydar is a superior genetic trait specific to gay people that allows them to identify each other discreetly. It evolved out of a necessity to survive the bizarre world that heterosapiens have created with things like religion, cryptocurrency, and eating fondue at the mall. Sharing a similar science to earthquakes, gay people send and receive small vibrations through the ground that only they can feel at the same frequency as Mariah's whistle tone. This is how the monsters could locate Reba McEntire in the movie Tremors. There are many ways to use gaydar, like gay whiplash. After a first pass at eye contact, a second, faster double take is initiated and reverberates into the ground. These signals are so strong that two men could be wearing oversized polo shirts and Margaritaville boat shoes at a Tom Clancy book signing in Memphis, Tennessee, and still know the other's gay. Another method is lesbian apparel pheromones. There are some clothes, like a beanie, that look different to gay women when another gay woman wears it. The gaydar trait is only accurate in person. In an experiment at the Chromatica Institute, gay and straight men scored the same when asked to identify homosexuals from photos alone. However, gay participants did spot the other gay participants, and later, all hooked up.
That was fun, but let's see if there is actually more to gaydar. How many times have you heard, quote, "my gaydar is going off"? Well, recent research sheds light on the concept of gaydar and the notion that individuals can sense if someone is gay or queer. While commonly perceived as harmless, a study by the University of Wisconsin-Madison exposes the detrimental effects of this belief. Published in the Journal of Sex Research, the study revealed that gaydar perpetuates harmful stereotypes despite its guise of social acceptability. Lead researcher William Cox conducted experiments showing participants the photos of men accompanied by statements about their interests. Those primed to believe in gaydar were more inclined to rely on traditional stereotypes such as assumptions about shopping preferences or emotional sensitivity, appearance, dressing styles, and more. Cox argues that legitimizing gaydar reinforces the use of stereotypes, posing a danger to LGBTQ+ individuals. Yet, conflicting studies exist. Dutch researchers claim that gay individuals possess a heightened attention to detail, which we do, suggesting they may excel at discerning other sexual orientations. This study, conducted by Leiden University, indicates that gay participants were slower in their responses, but more accurate than their straight counterparts while guessing about people's sexuality. What do you think about these studies? Does gaydar exist, or are we still controlled by stereotypes? Although I sort of think that's a loaded question that we're leading into this discussion with, because no matter what, stereotypes are always going to exist, even though we try to chisel them away every single day. I do believe gaydar exists. I don't think it's so much of a serious science. Wisconsin, Madison, no disrespect, but you ain't the one. You know, it's just, I mean, it's funny because I think that maybe with the study that gay people showed a slower response to what was maybe in front of them is because we were taking our time to think and really just suss out, is that person, you know, on our team or not? Also, who cares? It's 2024, gaydar, this, that. I love that. But sure, I think there's presenting feminine, you know, gay men. I think that there's presenting butch lesbians. I think there's both sides of that in our non-binary community. So sure, of course it exists.
Okay, but you feel an energy, don't you sometimes feel like again, you know, there's no perfect gaydar. I don't think there's a perfect gaydar, right? In Latin culture, and I think Jonathan will attest, older señoras, they cut their hair super butch, they dress very butchy, and they ain't gay, okay? At all. That is just, when they get to the degaff stage and they don't give a shit, they're just gonna dress how they dress, you know? I think my gaydar is good with gay boys, okay? My gaydar is completely effed with women. Like, really? I will get hit on by a woman and I think she's just asking me about my dress, and I think she's just asking me about how, you know, something, and I'm and she's trying to sit on my face or have me, you know, stick some stuff in, you know, and I can't do that with a married woman.
Yeah, but the reason why you know is because you know we have like a language, right? We have like vocal inflections, mannerisms. There are things that we know that maybe the general straight person wouldn't. And so if you say one thing, I know sometimes if you say one thing, I'm like, bitch, you didn't pick that up at Publix. Right. You caught that at the bar. So now I know just that one word, or if you did this, I'm like, oh, okay, hold up, honey.
Or if he calls himself a bottom, you know, like we have lingo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know.
All that stuff is outward, right?
Yes.
I always thought gaydar was the stuff you didn't see and hear. I always thought gaydar was when I'm sitting at work and I look across and I'm like, that coworker of mine, there's something about that coworker of mine. But it's not because, but it's not their
Physical.
It's not because they look like a
How he
stereotype.
carries himself.
There's something else.
Yeah.
There's an
Like you
aire.
were
In Spanish,
saying-
we say there's an aire.
No, I
There's
mean,
an
you know how
air.
you go
air
by
about
people
that.
and you're like, oh, their energy is weird. Like
Yeah.
something's off.
Yes.
I always thought Gaydar was. There's something about the energy. Me personally, there have been lots of men, mostly married men,
Yeah.
who it
Keep
was
up,
like,
say it slower.
who it was like, you know what? There's something about this guy, and it would turn out that the guy was bi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Okay.
it wasn't because he acted a certain
there was
way
an energy.
or talked a certain way, but it was just something about him that it was like,
It's like a
my
whole-
Gaydar is going
Okay,
off.
but that
Like
is a
even
part of Gaydar.
even though he's
It is.
standing there
That's
with his
Gaydar.
wife and 3 kids, something else is going on over there because I can feel it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah,
And the thing is about
That, my friend, is gaydar.
The thing is about gay men is sometimes we try it, even if our gaydar is not like super like popping off.
Yeah.
Like, let me not say too much detail. There's someone I know in a professional environment that we were chipping little by little.
Yeah.
It was, hey, what's up? And then it was, what'd you do this weekend? And then it was like, nice shirt. And like little by little, we were like catching each other. And like, now we're like, what's up, baby? How you doing? You know, now it's like
You asked
full
for the deep
on.
pics already?
No, we're getting there because
Okay, okay.
because I said you're not gonna open the door. Bro, too much information. I'm like,
He's gonna know.
he was
He's
opening
gonna know.
he was opening the door for a woman, and then he was about to go in and not hold it for me. And I was like, oh, you're not gonna open the door for me? And he was like, for you, I'll open anything.
Yeah! And you're like,
And that
bend
was
over.
But it took us like 3 months to like
Right.
get that
Get
back
there.
and forth
Right.
because we were both trying to catch each other with our gators, but we just weren't sure. But some people just don't care. We're gonna go for it no matter what.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
I meet a lot of those. That's why I'm like, my gaydar's all over the place. I look like a lesbian from the back sometimes. It's all over. You know.
Paul, what's next?
Very
Poppy?
interesting. Well,